The topic of homelessness is one that holds a multitude of misconceptions and stereotypes. When many first think of this issue, the main image that comes to mind is one of a dirty drug addict sleeping on a slab of cardboard in the streets of New York City. While people like this do exist, they do not make up the entirety of the homeless population. In fact, they only make up a fraction. In reality, those who are suffering with this issue tend to be ashamed and hide it. In these cases, they live out of their cars or on a couch in a friend's house, and sometimes save enough money for a night's stay in a motel once or twice a week. Homelessness holds such a stigma that many avoid talking about it altogether. Many feel as though there is nothing they could do to stop it, and those who are homeless are just lazy. In turn, the key way to tackle this issue is to bring it to the forefront of people's minds, educate them, and pass on the knowledge to others. In order to better understand this issue, we took it upon ourselves to pay a visit to Lunch Break in Red Bank. It was at this location that we were able to face homelessness and poverty firsthand and acknowledge the great amounts of work that this organization provides for their clients. There we met with Gwendolyn Love, the executive director of Lunch Break, who took us on a tour and explained why Lunch Break was created in the first place.
Lunch Break was actually created because there were a couple of deaths by the train station in Red Bank. There were a lot of people who did not feel that homelessness or hunger was an issue until that happened. Then it became a very public issue.
After this realization, those individuals came together to create a soup kitchen in the basement of a local church. 37 years later, Lunch Break now holds a client choice pantry, a selection of donated clothing, and even a job board where clients are made aware of various employers hiring in the area.
We have an internet cafe where people are coming in and they're able to go on Facebook, they're able to check their emails, they're able to do research for other resources that they need as well. We have a job board in that the dining room as well. So there are companies that are sending us through via fax or dropping off employment opportunities, and people are actually coming in for that. They don't maybe have access to the papers or the internet from home, and they're coming in and they're looking for those job opportunities.
The client choice pantry that they have on scene allows those receiving lunch break services to regain their humanity by choosing what is right for their family rather than getting the same supplies as everyone else. The dining room at Lunch Break also offers a sense of fellowship. When individuals who live alone and lose their jobs, such as the elderly, it is very common for them to spiral into loneliness from the lack of socialization. The dining room allows these individuals to interact with members of their community while also getting a nice hot meal. When money is tight, many individuals tend to go for the cheaper option rather than the healthy one. Because of this, Lunch Break ensures that each of their meals include 3 different salads and nutritious options rather than just burgers and fries. The clothing from Clara's Closet and Suited for Success is key for those who are struggling. This allows those who cannot afford clothing to get what they need, such as seasonal items and professional attire. In addition to this, they held a prom drive with dresses from Castle Couture.
In fact, what we had to do to make our prom successful was to take it out of Lunch Break. So we don't offer the prom dresses here. We had the prom dresses. We held our event at the Women's Club in Red Bank, because the girls weren't coming to Lunch Break. Again, the stigma.
Again, this stigma prevails, even though prom dresses are insanely expensive and getting one for free is nothing to be ashamed of. When it comes to the homeless, you may wonder why they would need to receive clothing regularly. We did too, until a volunteer named Susan Hagenes told us the story that opened her eyes to the experience of being homeless.
A year ago, I had an opportunity to sleep outside to raise money for Covenant House. And I came back with this really interesting observation, which really helped me a lot, which relates to working in the clothing closet, because week after week I have the same clients coming in here taking the same things, socks or sweaters or shirts, and it gets frustrating week after week giving the same people the same things. And so I try not to judge, but you often feel like, what are they doing with this? And after the night of sleeping out, that night it actually poured, and when I woke up in the morning, my sleeping bag was soaking, my clothes were soaking, and I thought to myself, if I were homeless, there is no way I would take this sleeping bag with me or any of these other wet clothes. I would leave them and go on my way. So it just helped me in what I do here to be more sensitive and less judging, because we don't know what it's like when we carry everything we need walking around the streets.
Prior to this, Lunch Break used to only give away clothing the first Friday of every month. When they did this, there would be a line of people stretching from the entrance to down the street. Instead of this, they decided to make it more dignified and give clients a true shopping experience. Lunch Break has always tried to encourage their clients to find jobs and take part of the social programs they offer, but it has always been kind of random. It was never a structured step-by-step program in which clients could follow. Instead, it was mainly tailored to the individual and what Lunch Break could do to help. This all changed when Lunch Break was given an opportunity from JP Chase and notified about a building that they could not rent out. They decided to give this building to Lunch Break for a fee of $1 per year, and JP Chase would pay all of the other expenses themselves. Once renovated and opened on March 1st, 2019, the building soon became the home for their Life Skills Center, where they already have 11 participants enrolled. This donation truly broadened the programs that they have offered and allows individuals to experience free one-on-one coaching, computer 101 classes, interviewing and communication skills, and even English and literacy courses. One woman in particular was one of the first ones to reap the benefits of that the Life Skill Center provided.
She, again, we say life happens to you sometimes. She was in a domestic violence situation. 180 helped her. 180 told her about Lunch Break. We helped her with the food. In the meantime, we were putting this program together. We got her into our life skills program. She's now got a part-time job. She's got young children. She's in our women's mentorship program. All that we can, from the soup kitchen, from the pantry, through all the ways that they come into Lunch Break, and get them into the life skills program and get them, to help them become self-sufficient. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
During our visit, we were lucky enough to have the opportunity to talk to a woman who goes to Lunch Break regularly. Lucretia Jackson is a mother of 6. Unlike many clients, she is not embarrassed of utilizing their services to clothe her growing children, provide them with a hot, nutritious meal, and enroll them with the various programs that Lunch Break provides. Although she is not homeless, the struggle is still there, and without the help, they could be in much more trouble financially. While Lucretia and her family have a home, there are others that come to Lunch Break in need of help. They don't know where to go.
Everything that we do here, we can help with food. We can give you food, give you clothes. We can help you get to the prom. We can help you with your youth. We have youth mentorship programs. We have a wonderful women's mentorship program, helping women, build them up from the inside out, all these things. But when someone walks in the door and says, I don't have any place to live, oh my God, my staff can spend 2-3 days on the phone trying to find a place. They're either full or people don't meet the certain criteria that they have to meet in order to get into the place.
Sadly, there are those that are so accustomed to their current situation that the thought of seeking housing does not even cross their mind.
We've had families that have come in a van. They've been sleeping in the van, and now they're just here for the food. They don't even ask for a place to stay. They just become accustomed to sleeping in the van.
As many would not expect, the majority of Lunch Break's demographic are actually working, most of whom have 2 to 3 minimum wage jobs to support their families. Unfortunately, this is sometimes not enough to get by.
The county or the state, someone has determined that you're not homeless until you're actually on the streets for a full year. But you have to literally be sleeping on the street for a year. So you got the point in time, supposedly official numbers of what's homeless, but there's another reality in terms of what's really homeless, because they won't count that. They can't count that because someone came up with this great idea.
There are 300 to 400 people in Monmouth County who are considered homeless. With this clarification, it is obvious that the actual amount of homeless people within our county is much larger than that.
It's very complicated too, to get the help, especially when it comes to housing. It's very, very complicated to get housing. There are resources within the community that have their housing agencies, but because their funding is they're getting funding by government, they have to adhere to certain stipulations. So they can't just let you come in. You got to go through a myriad of paperwork. There's resources if you can get into the resources. And it's very frustrating for those nonprofits that are running those places, because they would rather just put you in there.
To have a job does not necessarily mean that they are out of poverty, and more flexible housing criteria would ease one who is struggling from one phase of their life to the next. There is a phrase, "not in my backyard," that many use when referring to homeless shelters being built in their neighborhoods. This stigma that homelessness carries is preventing those from seeking and receiving help. It is not difficult for someone to spiral into a situation where they end up homeless, and once they get there, it's very difficult for them to get the help that they so desperately need.
Life happens. A mom having children out of wedlock, or divorce, or a widow, or you have a medical issue or whatever. Things can happen and put you in that situation. We have many people that come in. How did you get in this situation? Why are you homeless? And they will tell you. Sometimes it's, I lost my job, they downsized, I was married, I had a family, I had a home. When I couldn't find a job, it created stress in the home. My wife left me. We lost a home. Things spiral. If you don't have those safety nets, it'll spiral more and more out of control.
Even so, depending on how you are raised and who you are as a person, you'll react differently to situations. Whether it is incarceration that runs in your family, sexual abuse, a disability, or substance abuse, these factors are very difficult to manage and can lead to poor choices. Everyone makes choices that they regret, and some of those can lead to a situation as serious as poverty or even homelessness. Mrs. Love gives the great advice that you should try to get to know someone before making assumptions, because everyone has a story, and by learning these stories, we can understand the world better as a result.
The more you build compassion and empathy for other people, that's really where it starts. You can't walk around feeling like none of this is real. You just can't.
Since 2007, rates of homelessness in New Jersey has decreased dramatically, and we have become the first state in the United States to end chronic homelessness. Experts are equating this change to organizations such as Lunch Break and volunteers who dedicate their lives to raising up those who are struggling and need help. With the spreading of awareness, more people will feel inclined to seek the help they need instead of being embarrassed to receive it. We are a community, and being a community means that we work as one unit with love and care.
Monmouth County, with the wealth that we have here, we could fix that. We could actually eradicate housing needs here if we wanted to.
With this being said, many hands make light work, and if all hands are on deck, that is when true change can happen.